longer when he's on the call. All right, everybody, thank you for attending the training call for Kern Valley Healthcare. Did somebody else just arrive?
Is Edwin?
Yay, we got everybody. And so, well, besides the broker and Mike, but we got the important people.
Okay.
So I'm going to go over this enrollment fairly quickly. It's pretty straightforward enrollment. There's not a lot of choice, so it should go fairly quick. And you all have the plan summaries, so take a look at them so you're familiar with them before the enrollment. But first, let me give you some logistics. This is the second year for this group, and hopefully people received some, and usually we do fairly well with hospitals and stuff, especially if somebody got paid on stuff. So I think looking at the discovery report, you can catch a brief glimpse of the claims, and if we don't see a whole lot, just remind everybody that, do their wellness claims and all that, so people start receiving money on, on this and that. And they, empowers more people to purchase, because when they see people get paid, they go, well, I want some of that. So that's where we're at. And let's see, Deb just called me, and here, if everybody will write this down, she wants you, first appointments are set, and she has pretty full schedules for the first 2 days here. The first appointments are going to start at 7:30, so she wants all of you in the cafeteria at 7 to set up and get your extension cord, everything plugged in. She has the cafeteria set up with privacy screens, so each of you will have your own spot. If there's not enough power cords and extension, power strips and extension cords, she'll get her IT department to get them. But she's ready to, she's ready to go, gung ho. I think I said in the email, or I can't remember, that there's going to be 3 of you that are going to have set schedule, and with the employees coming one after the other, because she's already assigned appointment times 2 of the employees. And there are, one of you is going to be the drop-in person, because they wanted one person to drop in, and then especially if somebody is going over, then the next appointment person can go sit with the drop-in person. So that way we can keep the flow going. And she's built in staggered breaks for lunch, so not everybody will be having the same lunch, but since you're in the cafeteria, she suggested that best she's doing a half-hour break for lunch. So the best thing to do would be to get food at the cafeteria, because there really isn't anywhere to go to be back in time outside of it. And so here are the instructions that she gave to go to the cafeteria. Vince probably knows, because he's been at this account before. But he says she said when you arrive there, you'll see the lobby to the left, the skilled nursing to the right. So you got to go into the skilled nursing section, and then you'll turn left to go to the cafeteria, which will be at the end of that hall. So hopefully, once you get there and see the sign skilled nursing, it'll click in where you need to go. And I don't have her number in the guide, but here is Deb's cell phone number, so that you can text her if you need anything. And she said if you're sitting with an employee and they don't have some information, you can text her and she'll see if she has it and can look it up. So here's Deb's cell phone number. It's 760-549-3663. All right, let's see. If you're looking on the screen, you can follow along. I'm just going to go through the guide real quick. If you're not on the computer, you'll just have to listen. All the core plans are the same as last year. Their medical insurance is a self-funded medical plan through Health Edge administrators, because they basically use their hospital. And the dental insurance is a Delta Dental PPO low plan. and there is a PPO high plan available, but the only difference between the two is the high plan has orthodontics for children only. So it's only available for employee children coverage, employee family coverage. It's not available for employee and employee spouse coverage, since no children are involved in that, in those two tiers. Vision insurance is through VSP Vision. Basic life insurance is through Cigna, and there are two classes. Class 1 is $25,000, and Class 2 is one-time salary up to $200,000 for exempt employees. And the database is set with if they're Class 1 or Class 2, or if they're not eligible. So you should be able to see fairly quickly who gets the basic life. The voluntary life is also through Cigna. Now, all their current election choices, if they waived, if they canceled, if they elected, will show under existing benefits. And I did not set the database to carry forward and recalculate, because we've had lots of problems with databases that I set to do that. So I'm just putting the current plans under existing benefits. So for every employee, be sure to open up the existing benefit tab so that you can see what they chose for medical, which would basically be the tier level, what they chose for dental, which is basically the tier level, and it'll say with ortho if they got the ortho one. And the same for vision, it'll say the tier level. And the basic life, it'll say if they were, if they had, it'll say 25,000 if they had 25,000, or it'll have a one-time salary amount if they were Class 2. But salaries may have changed, so when you re-enroll them in it, it may come up a different amount this year, since if one-time salary varies depending on what their salary is. And if they weren't eligible, it'll say NE, not eligible for it, or nothing will show for basic life. Voluntary life, I had the April 2016 bill, and I went through and updated what everybody had, and she just sent me the May 2016 bill. And depending on what time I get to leave this hospital, my primary task that I want to get done is to update the medical dental vision rates. In the next task, I will double check to be sure that the May bill is the same as the April bill. I would think it would be, but you just never know. So I put in showing under the existing benefits the coverage amount that they have, how much they, the employee was covering on themselves, how much they were covering on their spouse, if they covered their spouse, if they were covering any children. Now, the database is set up for the EOI to come on only, it's set up like it's new. So the EOI won't show unless you go over 80,000 for the employee or 25,000 for the spouse. But you need to remember this is the second year. So anybody who is is not a new hire, or has been, their date of hire shows that they've been an employee for quite a while, or they currently have it, they must fill out the EOI form if they add more than 10,000 of life insurance if they are an employee, or more than 5,000 for the spouse, because you only get one increment level without EOI if you're not a new hire. So just keep that in mind. It won't show EOI at 10,000 because I didn't want it to show EOI for all the people that you're going to re-enter what they had from last year. And this way we'll capture all age-banded, because every 5 years the rates change, so we'll be able to capture every age band change of premium as well, forcing us to do this. But there are some employees that have odd amounts. So, or they have amounts that were grandfathered in that are over the EOI amount. So will have my phone available, and if you call me and you get my voicemail, you must text me, because I will have to turn off the rules so that you can put in, like if somebody has 200,000 of life insurance, we don't want the EOI to come on and say, well, you can get 80,000, but 120 of it is going to, not going to show until your EOI is processed. So we don't want that to happen. So you need me to turn off the rules so that you can enroll that employee and not have that, issue. So you'll have to connect online and call me so that you can enroll anybody that comes in with odd amounts that's over the EOI amount for the employee or the spouse. Does everybody understand what I'm saying there?
I just want to make sure, so re-enroll the voluntary life regardless, then. Is that correct?
You're re-enrolling everything, medical, dental, vision, basic
right.
life, and voluntary life. You're enrolling it all. Again, you have to look under benefits and then re-enroll them.
You re-enroll them, okay. That's just want to make sure.
Yeah. Yep. But because it's the second year,
right.
I didn't want the EOI, and some of them enrolled last year. I didn't want the EOI to show. If I set it for existing, it would show that they need an EOI after 10,000 for everybody. Well, back from, that is going to freak out the employees who already have 80,000. So they should be able to get that 80, whatever current amount they have without it. And there's some employees that, they've reached the, where they're of the age where it needs to, what's it called when you get up to, it lessens the amount that I can get because of their age. So they, instead of having a nice round figure, they might have, 16,250. Well, for 16,250 to show when we're going in, $5,000 increments, you have to call me so I can change the increment level so that you can, get the computer to let you issue 16,250. So that's why you're going to have to call me, because I can't leave it without the rules, because in the midst of enrolling, you guys are going to forget, and if you see it come up, you're going to let it be enrolled, even though it shouldn't be. So the easiest thing to do is just for you to call and text me that you need to, you have an employee that has this amount, and you need to be able to enroll it without the EOI showing, or to get this odd amount.
Okay, and that's under existing benefits in Harmony, correct?
Correct. You'll see what they currently have. Now, looking on that April Cigna bill, I only marked the ones that actually had a policy amount under the spouse. So you may come across, because you know how when there's a large number of employees, sometimes the bill is not 100% accurate. So you may come across an employee that says, well, I did have insurance on my spouse. And you say, well, that's fine. How much did you have on her? And we'll re-enroll it. Or maybe they could, they know the dollar figure or something, and you'll just put it in again. We'll just, just say human error if you come across any of those. All right. The only form that you should have to fill out is the EOI form. There really is. I included what the broker and the group sent to me, and there is an enrollment form for the medical. There is a form for the dental and vision, but they didn't have us fill out any of those forms last year. But keep in mind, we're flexible, and if Deborah decides that she wants anybody new added, that's adding to the plan to fill out a form, then fine. Just do what, we'll just do what the plan administrator wants. But last year, we didn't have to, so I'm assuming that this year is going to be the same. Let's see. And if you do end up filling out enrollment forms, you all know to double check to be sure that I'll forward to everybody that missing information form so you have it just in case we end up having to fill out any enrollment forms, so that if they're missing spouse's date of birth, social security number, you can write it down on the missing information sheet that this form is missing this information. All spouses and children that are currently enrolled, I was given that, I had that information, was given that information, so I was able to enter that information. So hopefully most of the spouses' date of birth and socials are there. I noticed that some socials are missing, so you're still going to have to track down some socials, but the majority of the current dependents that are covered, Deborah had been keeping, this year, since she knew that we needed it, she's been trying to keep it up to date every month, so that when she sent me the census, she also sent me the dependent census, which was really nice of her. I like plan administrators that think like that and plan on getting me all the information that we need for our enrollment system. Alrighty. Oh, I forgot to delete this. We're not. Last year we were replacing Unum. Well, this year Cigna, they'll stay in Cigna, so I'll take out the reference to Unum there. Let's see. Trying to think. We all know about Mike's survey forms passed out to everybody. We all know, to let the employee type in their own password. All right. The hospital admin is supposed to have visitor passes, or they may have set it up differently, but you should be able to access the internet since the reception is spotty at their location. And they'll have the schedules for you for the appointment schedule. So when it'll either be Deb or someone from her office will have these schedules of who's going to be coming at what time. So there will be 3 schedules, so be sure to ask for those schedules. The hospital has 2 shifts, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So the first day, well, actually probably, I think it was the first 2 days, June 1st and 2nd, you're going to have some long days because she set appointments to try to see as many of the employees on that second shift as possible. But luckily the second shift doesn't have as many employees. Most of the employees are on the first shift. So if you need to make any arrangements, if we need to tell Deb we can stay longer, whatever needs to be done. Vince is going to be the one that will be back the next week for 2 days. So Vince, you may have to, play it by ear with Deb to get the correct, the best times. I know she told us times, but, find out if we need to cover that late shift anymore for those 2 days. We have a UVille site set up for this group, so I would have the UVille, have it open on your laptop if you can, so that you can show it to the employees so that they know that there's a place that they can go. All the plan summaries are on that UVille site. The only thing that's not there is that they don't really have group brochures that they put on there. So right now the 2 group products show the regular brochures, and I'm trying to get them to post those group products, but hopefully we'll get to it. Alrighty, so the broker is, Michael Campbell from Venbrook, and it's the Benefits America broker. There's a group critical care and group medical bridge. Pre-existing conditions still exist for the first, is still in place for the first 12 months of those policy ownerships, but we have guaranteed issue on these, these 2 group policies, and the GI amount is $15,000 for the group critical care. And let's see, please dress business casual, and our enrollment times that Deb told us was 7:30 a.m. start to 8 p.m. on the June 1st and 2nd. It may go later than 8. It depends how many of the employees they have scheduled on the second shift. But just want to have you guys prepared. And I'll give you the schedules each year. And this year there's no group meetings. There's just one-on-one meetings. They just wanted to get everybody run, you know, they liked the process last year of the one-on-one meetings, so they decided to go straight for the one-on-one meetings this year. And you all have the address and know where we're going. And I forgot to change the number. There's more like I think it was 254 that I had on the census this year. So there's a few more employees. Alrighty. Scrolling down.
And Dre, I've got a few comments to make when you're ready.
Go ahead.
Hey guys, I've been up there every month doing a servicing end of it. Not one policy has been written in 12 months. So I didn't show up in May because I said, hey, we're going to be here in June, guys, so I'm just going to skip May. What I was doing is I was going to see all the new employees. So all the new employees, a part of their orientation is a colonial presentation, so I was doing that with them. During the year, I got a lot of comments about, hey, I should have took that disability out. So be on the lookout for that. And when Deb says,
wait, look out on what for what?
For disability.
Oh, they're looking for disability?
Yeah, I got a lot of comments. They were existing employees, Andrea, so they weren't allowed to participate outside of what they did in open enrollment. New employees, right. and new employees and existing employees. Again, I was doing a bunch of servicing with claims and stuff like that, and going to do new employee orientation. And my point is to the enrollers is that we haven't enrolled anything all year long. So we wrote a lot of premium in this thing last year, but there's been a lot of new employees come in. They average about 8 to 10 a month. So there are literally going to be 90 to 100 people that haven't been seen. And I'm just going to put an idea out there for you guys. If they've got 3 on the schedule, I want to make sure you guys see as many bodies as you possibly can because of when you're coming up and doing this portion of it and all that stuff. I also have a couple of ladies that are going to come by and see me for claims issues, complicated claims issues. So I kind of need to be freed up for that. That way you guys won't have to deal with it, and I will.
So
you guys can see bodies.
So Vince, you're saying that you want to be the drop-in person?
Yeah, I need to be the drop-in person. I'll talk to Deb about it, and they've got another lady by the name of Betty who really does all the work over there as far as the day-to-day stuff, and I'll introduce you guys to Betty. She's really, really a nice lady, and she'll help us out. So I'm making a suggestion of being the drop-in person. I'm not self-anointing myself. I just know that I want you guys to see as many bodies as you possibly can. I talked to Mike about this a little bit earlier today, and I think it was just to be a good idea. So if nobody objects to it, great. If somebody objects to it, you can tell me about it all tomorrow when we're there. That's all. So it's no big deal. I just got other stuff going on besides the enrollment. And since I'm the guy that's been going up there, I want to make sure you guys knew that, and I wouldn't have to prep you in the morning for it because the being on time thing in this particular account is vital. They don't play around with it, and they judge us by our efficiency and stuff like that all the time. I was never late, and I've gotten all the comments in the world as, boy, we're sure glad you're never late and all this other stuff. So it's a big deal for those guys. And when she says we're starting at 7:30, we're starting at 7:30. I mean, the computers are up and going. Yeah. So just kind of just making sure you guys knew the severity of it. So.
And I've already prepped her that anybody that has large amounts over the 80,000 guaranteed issue and the weird amounts that don't follow the guidelines of 10,000 increments for employees, 5,000 increments for spouse, that you will have to call me so I can turn off the rules so that they can be enrolled properly. So she knows that you'll have to let me know that. And so I'll have my handy finger. It doesn't take me long to take off the rules. I just can't let it stay with those rules in place. Otherwise, we'll end up with all kinds of weird enrolled amounts. All right, there's 4 colonial plans in place. Our accident plan, of course, preferred or premier with health, and the off-the-job spouse disability rider, and our disability plan. Off-the-job guaranteed issue is selected for new hires now up to 4,000, but it's capped at 30%. so this group didn't want them getting too much disability. They didn't want them to end up with more than too much disability, so that there wasn't incentive to come back to work. We're also offering group medical bridge plan 2 with 1,500 hospital confinement level, and option 1 for the outpatient and health screening. And you need to emphasize that there is 12 months pre-X, that they can get the policy, but anything that they have that's a pre-existing condition won't be covered for 12 months. And the group critical care, same thing, offer plan 2. It has the full plan with $50 health screening. Emphasize that 12 months pre-existing, and that $15,000 is a guaranteed issue amount. Next, we'll go real quick through and read. I just have a brief synopsis here, and so be sure to go through that. It's an Excel spreadsheet. I think that's the schedule of benefits for the medical plan. It'll be more in depth about how it works, because this is different since it's a self-funded plan. It's not one of your the usual plans that you see. So I would read through the medical plan. We're supposed to be enrolling all employees. I enrolled what was on the spreadsheet that Deborah sent me, but of course, information may not be 100% accurate. So if they say that I had employee spouse coverage, not employee-only coverage, well, then enroll them in what they want to have. The Kern Valley, it's called the Kern Valley Self-Funded Medical Plan through Health Edge Administrators. It's the same plan as last year. Changes that occurred include some deductible and co-pays that they didn't have last year. You already have the summary, so I can take away, because she sent it, so I can take away that you will receive it at the enrollment because you already have it. It's a PEO and EPO type plan. There's 2 levels of coverage. One is less expensive if they use it. They can go outside of the cover, outside of this hospital, the Kern Valley Hospital, but obviously if they don't use the hospital, it's really expensive. So it really behooves them to use the hospital. But I know for some employees, they probably live farther away from the hospital, and they had to have some options where it didn't use their facility. The annual deductible is
Andrea, I want to interject right there real quick, you guys. Hey, listen, everybody runs to Bakersfield from Kernville. Some people actually live up in Kernville, live in Bakersfield and drive up to Kernville. You'll hear comments that the plan doesn't work well. They all sign up for it, though, and the reason they sign up for it is because it's the only thing being offered to them. But they do get a dramatic discount by using the hospital facilities. Some of the employees will say that they don't like to do that because it's their own personal business and it's a hospital and it's not that big and everybody knows what goes on. So just be ready for those kind of comments, you guys, on the medical plan. It's the usual don't shoot the messenger. We're the ones just telling you, what the plan is, so you'll know. But there's a lot of folks that they'll ask that question about using Bakersfield facilities. And I'll get a clarification for you on that too, because there is a little caveat. You can get down there and, going out of network, we have the out of network costs on that stuff, you guys. But what it is they get around it somehow. So I don't know all that well what that is, and I'll get with Betty tomorrow on it. So I just wanted to make sure you guys knew the attitude of the employees when they sit down with you.
Because
it's not always negative. I'm just telling you, though, that's geographically challenged area is what it is.
Yeah, because the hospital's a little bit out of the way, but it's the place where they get the best. And I got this schedule, and then it was just updated to the final update was today. So whatever's on the schedule of benefits is, if it's different than what I have in the enrollment guide, go with the schedule of benefits, because they may have made some changes that I didn't take a look at. But as you can see, the plan year deductible is still, and you can, they put in yellow on here what they wanted, wanted everybody to see, an EPO network here. The primary network is Cornerstone Medical Provider Association with California Foundation for Medical Care as a secondary network. Of course, I've never heard of either of those, but services provided by a provider who does not participate in either of these networks is considered to be out of network. And out of network, as you know, gets more expensive. And here it says out of network and services provided by an out of network provider are not a benefit of this plan. The patient will have to pay 100% of those charges. So they need to be really sure that they, that they're not, that they're not anywhere what's considered out of network, or they're going to get a big shock. The hospitals in network are the Kern Valley Health Care District and the San Joaquin Community Hospital. The First Health Network is in place for emergency care outside of Kern County. So here they put, they try to, address some of those questions, where they put, a little bit, at least there's 2 hospitals that are in the network. It's not just Kern Valley Hospital, and there is an emergency care in place outside of Kern County. Individual deductible, it's $500 per person, $1,500 per family. Maximum is $2,500 for individual, $6,500 for family, and there's also a prescription out-of-pocket, $4,350 for individual, $7,200. It's so odd that the prescriptions are more than the medical, but this one has a prescription out-of-pocket max as well, and then you can see all the different services that that require authorization. So they do have to have authorization, and there is an authorization number to contact that they need to. And then all claims and stuff are done through that, right there, through the Health Edge administrators, since that's who's administrating this self-funded plan. And if you can click on here, and you can, like here, provider directory for physicians. Any of these links here you can click on to get you, to find if they want help with any of these, looking for doctors. Hopefully they all should have a copy of this as well, but you can always give them the URL so that they can, look up doctors themselves as well. Here you can see, here they try to make it very clear, and not covered out of network. So they basically need to go, where they can go for office visits and what the cost. It's all listed here, and it's pretty thorough what they're covering, what they're not covering. So, but if you have any questions that you can't answer, the broker's phone number is in the guide, but you can also call Deb on her cell because she knows this plan pretty well, and she would be able to address some of your any concerns that any of the employees have as well. And so if you do get somebody that's really grumbling about the plan, like Vince said, they're trying to kill the messenger and there's not a whole lot we can do about it, I would just direct them to go to HR with their concerns. But, it's the only plan offered, just this one choice. Does anybody have any questions on it? Okay, vision is a straight VSP vision plan, $25 for the exam, $0 for material. They can have an exam every 12 months. They can get lenses every 12 months. Frames are every 24 months, and there's a $130 frame allowance, or contacts in lieu of glasses, $130 allowance. And you have the brochure, not the brochure, summary. You have the summary pages as well on this. Any questions on vision? Otherwise, dental is through Delta, and the main plan is the Delta Dental, the Dental PPO low plan. Has a $25 deductible for individual, $75 for family. It pays 100% for preventative, 80% for basic, 50% for major. There's a $1,000 annual max, and there's no ortho coverage. And so then the only other choice that they have is Delta Dental Buyout Dental PPO High, which includes ortho, and it's only for employee children and employee family coverage because those are the two tiers that include children. It has a $25 deductible, 100%. It's the same plan. It just covers child-only orthodontics up to age 19, and 50% to $1,000 lifetime max. And then we've already talked basically about the life, but it's here again. This plan also includes 3 face-to-face visits under their EAP benefit. I forgot to say that before. Class 1 is all non-exempt employees, including active board members. $25,000 reduces to 65% at age 65, then to 50% at age 70. Harmony doesn't show age reductions, but I saw on the Cigna bill that there was quite a few people with 12,500 or 16,250 amounts. So I did set up under Class 1, 25,000 amount to choose, 12,500 amount to choose, or 16,250 amount to choose. If you have any other different amounts, you'll have to call me and I'll have to add it real quick. But I didn't notice any other amounts on the Cigna invoice. Class 2 is all exempt employees, which is one-time basic annual earnings to a maximum of $200,000, which also reduces to 65 at 65% at age 65, and Harmony doesn't show those age reductions. So, but you'll see under existing benefits what their current benefit amount is, and if somebody has, like 3,250, you know that there's an age reduction in place. So you'll have to, call me so that I can change it to $50 increments or something so that you can get that, 3,250 amount. But other than that, you should see what their one-time basic annual earnings is. If their salary has changed drastically since last year, obviously one time their basic annual earnings is going to be different this year. Everybody in the census currently has a Class 1 or a Class 2 classification label, or they are listed as non-eligible because Kern Valley has listed quite a few employees that are not eligible for their basic life. And then they wanted to be sure that we asked employees if they want to update their beneficiary information. And if they do, we can update it in Harmony, but I guess this is one other paper form that they do like filled out, the beneficiary form. Okay, then we have the voluntary life in AD&D. The employee can get $10,000 to $500,000 in $10,000 increments to a max of 5 times the salary. The guaranteed issue max is $80,000 for new hires, but it is $10,000 for existing employees. I should put that in there, huh? Well, it's not guaranteed issue, but that's the step amount that they can increase it. Then if it starts reducing at age 65, once again, Harmony doesn't show that, which is why you'll have to, if anybody has one of those auto mounts, most of the time it's because they have an age reduction taking place. And then the spouse has $5,000 to $250,000, not to exceed 50% of the employee coverage in increments of $5,000. Guaranteed issue amount is $25,000. You're going to find, from some grandfathered amounts that are more than 50% of what the employee has. So that's why I have to turn off the rules so it'll let you enroll that. And that's what happened last year when we tried to carry forward. They had so many people that didn't follow the rules that we had all this life insurance that errored out and wouldn't carry forward, and it just made it more difficult to enroll it. So that's why I decided this year we weren't going to do that carry forward thing. Children is just a $10,000 flat amount. All right, and then I put here the same thing we already talked about. Call me, text me. Texting is probably the quickest way for me to turn off the rules. So that I need $50 increments or I need $500 increments, so that I know, what you need so that you can get the correct amount for that employee. Does anybody have any questions? And from what Vince said, it sounds like there's quite a few people that might be interested in disability, so have plenty of brochures. And I appreciate you helping on this group. We generally do pretty good with hospitals, so hopefully the second year will be good for us here. If
I do have just one comment real quick. Guys, the employees we're being really supported by the educational nurses who run around and see all the employees, and they all got to go see the educational nurses for their updated education along with their new employee orientation, all that other stuff. So a lot of support there. And they talk about wellness benefits constantly with these people. You can take a look at it. You can take a look at it. So on your wellness strategy when you're enrolling these folks, really harp on it because they're being told about that a lot. And, you know, and that's I think it'd be a momentous thing if, when it comes to sales on that standpoint, just from what I've observed in the last year. So just want to make sure you guys knew that. That way we wouldn't have to say that in front of people when we're together tomorrow. That's all I can.
Okay. And show them how our they file for their wellness benefits each year. It can certainly doesn't take away the monthly premium cost, but it makes it more palatable.
Yeah.
Okay, if nobody has any questions, I am going to.
Quick question: the group plans are not in yet on the menu, right?
Say what?
The group plans are not in yet on Harmony.
Yeah.
Because I went in preview and I don't see them. So unless I have the
well,
active.
you got to remember that the date of hire. Let me see if I can.
The accident is showing and the short-term disability is showing.
Well, that's because they're not group. But the group plans, no, they're already built there, and since this is a second year, they're already approved. So, but you have to have the requisite amount. So, I received hourly rate, but I didn't receive hours. I just basically put down that if they said they were full time, that they were 40 hours. So you're gonna have to double check their hours and salary, and certain plans don't show if they don't. So here's Kern Valley Healthcare. I just wanted to go look real quick. Account settings. So just look at. I can tell you real quick what you're going to have. The group benefits. They are ready for enrollment. Let's see. So, all right. All right. So
you had to be a 30-hour employee a week to get all their benefits. So
they have to be 30 hours, and they have to be employed more than 60 days. So if if they're a new hire and they've only been employed 45 days, it's not going to show. So you got to check date of hire and hours. You may have to fiddle with that a little bit to get the plans to show.
Okay.
Yeah, it hasn't been a problem all year long. So I'll just assume that it won't be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, say
that again.
And then again, just real quick again. So basically, we need to also text you or call you with if their amounts for the life insurance are not an increment of 10,000 or 5,000, so we can. So
that you can enroll it. Yeah, and if you have anybody. And if you have anybody that currently has a large amount, like there's a couple of people that have $200,000 of life insurance or $150,000 life insurance, obviously that's over the $80,000 guaranteed issue amount. So you want to call me as well, so I turn off GI, so you can get those people enrolled without, without the
EOI,
without it telling them that they need the EOI and separating the amount so it doesn't show properly on the election form. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So that's when you need to call me, when they have high amounts that are over the guaranteed issue amount, and when you have those weird increment amounts that aren't 10,000 or 5,000.
Okay.
And then I will then because then I'll have to change the increment amount for you to be able to enroll it. So it doesn't take me long to make that change, but so that's why, you know, just immediately text me when, you know, when you look at their existing benefits and you know you're going to be doing that life, you can text me, oh, I have one of those weird ones.
Sure.
What they currently have is what, you know, 32,450. So it's like I need $50 increments, you know, and GI off because it's over 25,000, you know, if it's a spouse, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So just tell me, turn off GI, $50 increments, or turn off GI, $500 increments, whatever increment you need, so that you can get the right amount.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Sounds good.
If there's no other questions, I will let you go, and I'll go back in the hospital and see if my husband's done with his MRI, so we can go home.
Hopefully I'll
Good luck.
well.
Thank
All
you.
right, I'll talk to you. Thank you guys. Appreciate you all helping.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for being
Thank
a call.
you.
Bye-bye.